All right, so I think that's enough of a time for you to absorb or digest that poem. Now let's move to another poet, that is Robert Browning. And we are going to talk about his poem, Porphyria's Lover. This is very much similar to what we have studied in My Last Touches, if you remember. Now, this poem, Porphyria's Lover, opens up with the classic setting of a stormy evening. It is a story of a deranged and lovesick man. Robert Browning was an English poet born in 1812, and he's considered one of the most prominent Victorian poets of his period. Now, if we talk about the key information regarding the poem, the central message is love can lead to obsession. The speaker is the lover, and the form, the poetic form, just like My Last Touches, we have dramatic monologue. The themes of love and death are there, and the emotions that are evoked are dishonesty, love for her, vengeance, and it is written in 19th century. This is a beautiful Browning poem that shows the dark side of human nature. Now, this poem opens up with the classic setting, which is the storming evening. There is storm that we can say. The rain and the wind are harsh. The speaker is all alone in a small cottage. Suddenly, there is a woman that enters and she brings cheer and warmth in the middle of the dark and cold night. So it seems like a classic love poem, but the tone shifts and the speaker does the unthinkable. It leaves the reader questioning everything from the speaker's authority to the reality of his descriptions. The woman's voice is not heard, and the reader is forced to conclude the voice of a less than trustworthy speaker. जैसे My Last Duchess में भी मैंने आपसे यही कहा था कि we do not have the Duchess perspective, so we don't know what she thought or what she was like. Similarly, the woman that is over here doesn't have a voice in the poem as well, so we don't know what's happening. As far as rhyming scheme is concerned, we have A B A B B C D C D D, right? Then we have syllables. Yeah, आप खुद देख सकते हैं if you would like. Then we have lines, and there are total of 60 lines in the poem, and you can see that there are no breaks in this, right? But you'll see that it is a very interesting poems to begin with. First, we'll listen to the recitation of this poem. Let me attach that and then we move forward. Let me attach the.
The rain set early into night. The sullen wind was soon awake. It tore the elm tops down for spite, and did its worst to vex the lake. I listened with heart fit to break. When glided in Porphyria, straight she shut the cold out and the storm, and kneeled and made the cheerless grate blaze up, and all the cottage warm. Which done, she rose, and from her form withdrew the dripping cloak and shawl, and laid her soiled gloves by, untied her hat and let the damp hair fall. And, last, she sat down by my side and called me. When no voice replied, she put my arm around her waist, and made her smooth white shoulder bare, and all her yellow hair displaced, and stooping made my cheek lie there, and spread o'er all her yellow hair, murmuring how she loved me. She too weak for all her heart's endeavour, to set its struggling passion free from pride, and vainer ties dissever, and give herself to me forever. But passion sometimes would prevail, nor could tonight's gay feast restrain a sudden thought of one so pale, for love of her, and all in vain. So she was come through wind and rain. Be sure I looked up at her eyes happy and proud. At last I knew Porphyria worshipped me. Surprise made my heart swell, and still it grew while I debated what to do. That moment she was mine, mine fair, perfectly pure and gold. I found a thing to do, and all her hair in one long yellow string I wound 3 times her little throat around, and strangled her. No pain felt she. I'm quite sure she felt no pain. As a shut bud that holds a bee, I warily oped her lids. Again laughed the blue eyes without a stain, and I untightened next the tress about her neck. Her cheek once more blushed bright beneath my burning kiss, I propped her head up as before, only this time my shoulder bore her head, which droops upon it still, the smiley, rosy little head, so glad it has its utmost will, that all it scorned its once is fled, and I, its love, am gained instead. Porphyria's love, she guessed not how her darling one wish would be heard, and thus we sit together now, and all night long we have not stirred, and yet God has not said a word.
So, when you listen to the recitation, you must be able to make some connections to the previous poem, My Last Touches. And in this poem, he's very explicit because in the last touches, he was like, I gave commands and all the smile stops. But here, he's explicitly expressing what he did and what he wanted. I hope it's clearer in your mind. Now, if we look at the text, the rain set early into night, the sullen wind was soon awake, and tore an elm tops down for spite, and did its worst to vex the lake. I listened with heart fit to break. When glided in Porphyria is the mental sickness, the madness, the violence that this lover feels for the woman in consideration is Porphyria. Almost as if divana nahi ho jata insan, to Porphyria is like that. Straight she shut the cold out and the storm, and kneeled and made the cheerless grate blaze up and all the cottage warm. Which done, she rose and from her form withdrew the dripping cloak and shawl, and laid her soiled gloves by, united her hat, and let her damp hair fall. Now her beauty is being depicted over here. And last she sat down by my side and called me. When no voice replied, she put my arm about her waist and made her smooth white shoulder bare, and all her yellow hair displaced, and stooping, again the word stooping, if you remember, पिछली poem में भी he has used this word I think twice, where he says that I choose never to stoop. So, and stooping made my cheek lie there and spread over all her yellow hair, murmuring how she loved me, she too weak for all her heart's endeavor to set its struggle passion free. From pride and veneer ties deserve and give herself to me forever. So this is a image you can definitely imagine that they are consummating their love, and he's saying that she's so low, she's so weak, and she can stoop to this level, and she's giving up her heart, her soul, and she murmurs that she loves me. But passion sometimes would prevail, nor could two nights gay feast restrain a sudden thought of one so pale for love of her, and all in vain. So he says that there is a passion in his mind that comes over, and all the love that he can see in her can go in vain. So she was come through wind and rain. Be sure I looked up at her eyes, happy and proud at last I knew. Porphyria's worshipped me, surprise, made my heart swell, and still it grew while I debated what to do. That moment she was mine, mine fair, perfectly pure and good. I found a thing to do, and all her hair in one long yellow string I would. 3 times her little throat around and strangled her. So he is giving us an image where he says that I could do whatever I want to do because in that moment she was all mine and I strangled her. No pain felt she, I am quite sure. She felt no pain. As a shut bud that holds a bee, I verily opened her lids again. Laughed the blue eyes without a stain, and I untightened next the tress. So वो कह रहा है कि जो उसकी yellow hair है उसके through ही उसने उसका गला घोट कर उसको मार दिया. And then he said she didn't feel a thing or two. And then he untightened the tress. About her neck, her cheek once more blushed bright beneath my burning kiss. I propped her head up as before, only this time my shoulder bore her head, which droops upon it still, the smiling rosy little head, so glad it has its utmost will that all it scorned at once is fled, and I its love am gained instead. Porphyria's love she guessed not how her darling one wish would be heard. And thus we sit together now all night long we have not stirred, and yet God has not said a word. So he says he has done what he wanted to do. The love of his life, and he could see the purity in her intentions, but but his passions came over, and he did whatever he wanted. He strangled her, and he says that the god has not said a word. So all in all, I hope you can make a connection to the previous poem. बेटे कुछ समझ आ रही है? Are you trying to understand? Are you understanding some of it?
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है. अब इसका स्विफ्ट एनालिसिस भी हो सकता है. बहुत सारे वर्ड्स आपके पास हैं. ठीक है. बट द पैशन sometimes would prevail. Be sure I looked up at her eyes. No pain felt she. I'm quite sure she felt no pain. तो ये सब कुछ आपने डेफिनेटली माइंड में रखना है. अब इसके पॉसिबल समरी यहाँ दी हुई है. बस हम समरी पढ़ेंगे, एनालिसिस बेटे आपने खुद पढ़ लेना है. और ऑन कैंपस कल और अगली क्लासेस में आप मुझसे कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं अगर आपको लगे कि डिस्कशन की जरूरत है. Now this poem, Porphyria's Lover by Robert Browning, tells the story of a man who is in a moment of obsessive love, strangles his lover to preserve their perfect moment together. The poem examines the fine line between passion and madness. And of course, किसी को पसंद करना, किसी से प्यार करना is normal, and to feel a little possession is also fine. But वो passion कैसे madness में convert हो जाता है, that is being depicted over here. And then the disturbing need, the obsessive need, this poetic persona, just like the Duke of Ferrera in My Last Touches, इस narrator को भी control की जरूरत है. Browning's poems delves into the psyche of a man consumed by obsession over a woman that he loves, and he wants to possess her to the core. Now, Porphyria enters exuding warmth and affection, yet the speaker remains passive until he decides to seize control. He strangles her with her own hair, believing this act preserves her purity and devotion. He doesn't want her to go anywhere else to any other man and be impurified, so he kills her by her own beautiful tress and hair, by thinking that this way she won't be touched by any other man on the world, and she will forever be purified and devoted to him. The poem's dramatic monologue reveals his twisted logic, where murder is justified as an act of love. The eerie calmness of the narrator's tone reflects his detachment from the moral reasoning, just like the one that we discussed in My Last Touches. Through this disturbing narrative, Browning examines themes of power, control, bleakness, frustration, possession. All those thematic pointers that were there in My Last Touches are here as well, and the dark extremes that obsession can lead to in romantic relationships. When reading this poem, this writer, uh, Alyssa, she's immediately struck by the speaker's unsettling calmness, recounting Porphyria's entrance with eerie detachment. There is a use of first person narrative that forces us to understand, to inhibit the mind of someone deeply obsessed with the sense of control. The pivotal moment when he strangles her with her own hair is both horrifying and strangely intimate, reflecting his twisted belief that by killing her, he can possess her forever. Browning masterfully blurs the line between love and madness, leaving her, of course, leaving us questioning the narrator's moral compass. In his delusion, he believes he's justified, rendering his actions even more chilling. Then we have stream of consciousness over here, which is simply a writing style where the thoughts of a poet are conveyed in such a manner that there is no filter or a punctuation mark. We have 60 lines and we have a continuous stanza, right? ये आपका यहाँ पर structure हो गया. Rhyming scheme, we have talked about it already. And then we have definitely, you can see this, that he uses the emphasis perfectly pure, good and found. यहाँ पे it begins with the dactyl. It's a one stressed syllable. ठीक है, इसको आप छोड़ सकते हैं, that's fine. Then line wise यहाँ पर analysis है. Line 1 to 4 का analysis है कि personification क्या है, तो वो आप देख सकते हैं. All in all, I've shared with you what the poem is about, and please read this analysis at your own and ask questions if you have any later on. Meanwhile, now you have few minutes to contemplate or think about this poem. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask.
Ma'am, I have a question.
जी बेटे पूछिए.
Ma'am, in the end of the poem, when he says that God did not say a thing, or matlab, he's trying to say that, right? So is he trying to justify his act by saying that even God is not bothered by it because he is doing the right thing?
Absolutely. He says that God did nothing, said nothing, which somehow provides him with the comfort that what he has done is okay because there's nobody to hold him accountable. Just like the Duke of Ferrera in My Last Touches. So, this is one of the tactics that you'll see in Robert Browning's poems all the time. Just just like meeting at night and parting at morning में भी था. अब हम इसका लास्ट स्टैंजा का पॉसिबल इंटरप्रिटेशन यहाँ से भी पढ़ लेते हैं ताकि थोड़ा सा हमें माइंड में ये बात आ जाए. क्वेश्चन आपका बहुत अच्छा है और डेफिनेटली इसको हम देख लेते हैं. He ends Porphyria's lover by claiming that God has not said a word. With this claim, he concludes that he did the right thing in killing her. He has been lying with her corpse all night, and because he has not heard anything from God, he concludes that he has done the right thing. So I think Mishkat बोल रही थी तो you are very much right, बेटे. This is one of the possible interpretations. यहाँ पे conclusion भी दिया हुआ है. By the end of the poem, the reader can conclude that the speaker is a deranged, lovesick man. To freeze the moment in time, he kills the woman he loves and lies all night with her corpse. He treats her as an object and he takes no concern for her life. Just like My Last Duchess में वो कहता है ना कि एज अ वाइफ उसको याद नहीं करता लेकिन उसकी ब्यूटी कैसे प्रिजर्व हुई, वो कैसी थी और कैसी नहीं थी. बस वही डिटैचमेंट यहाँ पर भी आपको नजर आ रही है. He believes that he has done the right thing and he has done the right thing by choosing to kill her. In his delusion, he believes that she would rather be with him forever than live without him. Since the speaker has that this is not sane, proven that he is not sane, the reader becomes unsure of everything he has said. Suddenly, it is unclear how closely the reality of women's actions corresponded with how the speaker described him. यानी जो हमारा पोइटिक persona है वो unreliable हो जाता है, जैसे हमारे पास ड्यूक ऑफ फरेरा भी डेफिनेटली अनरिलायबल हो जाता है जब वो उसको मार देता है या मारने की इंस्ट्रक्शन दे देता है. तो ऐसा ही है. दिस इज अ गुड कॉल पॉइंटर दैट यू गॉट. एनीथिंग एल्स बेटे?
Yes, ma'am. Can we also relate this with the era that with the faith? The faith was not strong
स्ट्रॉन्ग
at that
इनफ.
time.
हाँ डेफिनेटली,
Yes.
एब्सोल्युटली. विक्टोरियन एज से आप इसका डेफिनेटली सारे पॉइंटर्स का आप वही जो हमने लास्ट टचेस में अटैचमेंट क्रिएट करने की कोशिश की थी, वी कैन डू दैट. सो हियर ही इज मेंशनिंग गॉड because people were leaving faith and their staunch beliefs or their faithfulness somewhere in the background, and they had no fear of God anymore. And that's what he's insinuating over here, that God did not say anything. So whatever I've done is correct. He is taking shelter or cover in the disguise of the fact that people have drifted away from their religious duties and traditions and practices.
Yes, and ma'am, I'm sure there are many symbols, but I'll ask when I read about it.
Hmm.
Another thing is he trying to imply the notion of, obviously the theme of death is very prevalent because of its relation with the era as well, but also is he trying to imply that if women left alive, they will not stay purified?
Absolutely, absolutely. That is the pointer. That is the point that makes him justified in his own mental capacity. That if I kill her, she won't be impurified. She won't, wander away like the modern women. If you remember, the fallen women in Christina Rossetti as well, and the women in general were getting into odd jobs, prostitution, and they were getting intimate with men out of wedlock. So this was very prevalent in the era, and that could be one of the critiques by this poetic persona and the poet himself, that women, if not held accountable or controlled in a certain manner, they will wander away and they will be impurified and they will do something that will bring shame to their name. Just like in my last touches, वो कहते हैं ना, I have given you name of 900 years. So यहाँ पे भी वो यही कहना चाह रहा है, इसी तरह से कह रहा है. And then after strangling her, he says she felt no pain. And he's a lovesick man, he's a possessive, mentally unstable man, and he justifies it by saying, because he loved her, it was enough for her. Therefore, if I killed her, she did not feel anything out of it. So that is also true. That's correct.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
जी निदा, बताएं बेटे, कुछ कह रही हैं निदा आप? आपका हैंड रेस देखा मैंने. No? Okay, I can see that you have unmuted yourself, but you are not audible. मुझे तो बेटे आवाज नहीं आ रही. आप लोगों को आ रही है?
No, ma'am.
नहीं आ
No,
रही.
ma'am.
बेटे, could you write your question in the chat box or try to rejoin or something? निदा, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही बेटे. वो शो हो रहा है कि आप बोल रहे हो, बट आवाज नहीं आ रही. Okay, Nida says her mic is not working. Okay, so if you have a question, please take a minute, write that question over here. And I can see 87 students present right now. This should be 100 plus or something. That's okay. मैंने एक rough attendance ले ली है, लेकिन attendance won't be an issue. But I'm thinking about concluding your attendance today so that I can give the names of those students जिनकी attendance कम है, and then I can give you a task. कुछ लोगों को वो presentations assign हो जाएंगी, and that would not be credited as such, but that will give you a pass to sit in the exam if you have low attendance. ठीक है? और अटेंडेंस बेटे ऐसे ही कंक्लूड होगी ना कि अगर वो प्रोटेस्ट वाला दिन है या कुछ है, तो वो 1-2 दिन में आपको दे दूंगी. दैट्स फाइन, उसके लिए परेशान नहीं होना. बहुत डेलिबरेट होके आपकी अटेंडेंस काउंट की जाएगी. ठीक है? Baki, be ready to give these presentations. If you do not give these makeup presentations for your attendance, you will not be allowed to sit in the exam. चलें, ये पोएम समझ आ गई है काफी हद तक. बहुत सिमिलर है टू द सेम पोएम दैट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अर्लियर. ऐसा ही है?
Yes, ma'am.